So Barry, tell us a little bit more about your trip to OTT. Anyway, how did it go? Because obviously I gave this one. This is the first one that I've given a miss to since I've started going.
Well, I have to say, I mean, look, I could get where you're coming from. They didn't announce John Cena, lads, so Paul didn't go. Um, but no, but I mean, fair. I mean, they didn't. This one was not. Well, I don't know. I mean, this one I guess wasn't stacked to the gills, but I don't know. I thought it was a bad call to skip this one, and I'm afraid your boy at the Barry lad was vindicated. This show had one of, if not my absolute favorite match since I've started going to OTT. The Kings of the North, all three of them, including Mr. Duncan Disorderly, faced off against all three members of the British Strong Style: Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, and Trent Seven. This is Trent Seven's first time in OTT, and this was a match that, like, Pete Dunne, it seems, nobody has said anything, but it really seems like he is winding down in OTT, which is something I think you and I talked about when he lost the title last month.
Yeah.
It really feels like he's done everything. He's wrestled everyone: Ospreay, Luther Ward, won the title, lost the title, undefeated for all this time. He's done everything. I mean, if he's moving on, that's great. But the one thing people have been shouting about pretty much since British Strong Style kind of became a thing was that they wanted to see this match. Trent Seven, for all his notoriety in the last year or so, never been in OTT, despite the fact that some of his closest pals are there. Kings of the North, even though they're the big heels, they're considered one of the homegrown successes of OTT. Great act, super over. Had some great matches. Great match with War Machine last year. Just really, really awesome. People have been shouting about this match. Why is it taking you so long to get Trent Seven over? And then for this show, they just announced British Strong Style are coming, and they're coming as a unit. And everyone was very, very excited, and I think in a somewhat genius move, because they sold out the show anyway, so they didn't have to announce it. They did not say who they were facing, so British Strong Style came out. Everyone was very, very excited, very, very happy to see them, and then they did the long pause before their opponents came out, and the Kings of the North music hit, and people just went ballistic. People went ballistic when their song hit, and did not stop going ballistic for the entire duration of the match. It was a crazy brawl. It took them forever to actually get in the ring. Every 5 seconds there was a clatter or a slap coming from a new part of the crowd. They were throwing each other into the barricades, slapping each other in the face, just biting and tossing each other all over the place. It was crazy, and eventually things simmered down, and they had a kind of a straight trios match. But it was maybe the craziest the crowd has ever been. Which was good, because people have been shouting about the match so much that it was like they built it up like this kind of dream match almost, and the fans reacted to it as such. So I mean, that match alone made this like one of my favorite OTT experiences to this day. And similar to the title change last month, Pete kind of felt like he was bowing out after that one, and he is not advertised for the next show, unfortunately. He's not advertised for Scrappermania, which you or I are going to, and he's not advertised for the May show, which they plugged. By the way, did you see who's on that? Are you thinking of going to that one?
Yeah, probably. We'll see.
Now I know you may be turned off. It is Sonic the Hedgehog themed.
Never been good. Never will be good.
Don't have the energy for that. But they have announced Mr. Matthew Riddle is coming back.
I like my Riddle.
And Mr. Martin Skrull is coming back.
I like Martin Skrull.
And I mean, they have had great matches against each other, and they are also both great anyway, individually. And that's, on top of all the usuals, Martina, Kings of the North, all them. No WWE UK guys of any variety on the poster, including no Jordan Devlin on the poster. So I don't know if they are going 100% cold turkey on WWE UK guys. I have no clue, but that is
well. In fairness, the WWE UK guys are advertised for the European UK tour in May, so that might be why they're not going to be on the OTT May show. They might be otherwise occupied.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't look
that's
too much into that right away. If they're also not on the June show, then maybe that means something. But
Yeah. It is. As we talked about dating back to the announcement of this tournament, it is, it is interesting time. It is unusual times in the European landscape. But those tickets are on sale this coming Friday. So once again, get on 9:59 a.m. baby on Eventbrite, hitting that refresh button if you want a seat. I'm looking forward to that. So other than that match, Jeff Cobb, the man also known as Matanza, he wrestled Ryan Smile. Good match. I think everyone struggled following the trios match, but good match. Jeff Cobb is fucking ridiculous live. He was throwing this man around like nobody's business. Got over really well. Smile won clean, as you'd expect. I don't know if Cobb's coming back anytime soon. I think if there was one thing that maybe hurt the match, I don't think anyone really thought he had a chance to win, because this was his first match and he's not advertised for any of the next few shows. So that's always going to hurt it when you have a specifically an American import on an OTT show. It's like the chances of him actually winning a big match like that are rare, but that was good. The rest of the show was kind of solid. We don't need to run down the whole card here. But for Scrappermania, Paul, which you are going to, the lads from the Flats will be facing Kings of the North.
All right.
They won a number one contenders match. A great match. I mean, I know you've seen the lads from the Flats. You've seen the Gymnasties. They were the opener. Perfect opener, just hilarious. Did lots of great stuff. Did a bunch of routines about pointing to the sign, because of course they had the Scrappermania sign up there. The lads won, so they'll face the Kings at the show. They're doing Katie Harvey, who's the women's champion, who you haven't seen. She's quite good. You'll enjoy that. Her versus Session Moth for the title at that show. And I don't believe they confirmed it, but they continued to tease the Gymnasties versus Justin Shape for that show as well. I'd imagine that's going to get confirmed at some stage. They had two young lads who looked about 17 each. They announced basically that they were sort of, I think they called them like OTT contenders, I believe was the verbiage they used. Basically some guys, local guys who'd been training recently, who were getting a shot on the show. And I have to say they really killed it. They did a great job. They had a kind of me and one of the lads I was sitting with, he kind of compared it to a sort of young Mark Andrews and young Pete Dunne. You know, that vibe of these dudes who trained together, and they've probably already in their young careers, they've probably wrestled each other a good few times, knew each other quite well. The crowd, it was a good match. I don't want to say the crowd was carrying anything, but the crowd was like really willing it to be great, because they knew they were locals, and you want to see the locals do well. But genuinely, they were two very, very talented lads. They did a great job. And the finish was their sequence of near falls was really fantastic. But the finish was Jordan Devlin and his stable of bastards ran in, and the match was a no contest. And he cut a promo about he was the future of OTT, not these youngsters. So I actually don't know. Maybe they'll do a match with those guys at the big show, but nothing confirmed. And there was some other stuff here or there. Like I said, we won't go through the whole thing, but a really cracking show. The atmosphere was great, as it always is. And as you would hope a show like that would do, I am very, very excited for Scrappermania. I think the matches they've announced are really great, and I'm going to be fascinated to see the composition of that crowd. 2,000 people. I mean, it's going to be hard to fathom what that's even going to look like within the context of an OTT show. But it was great. It's always great. And I'm looking forward to April.
As am I.
So they've got, I suppose they've actually probably got a decent, they've got more or less half, or maybe even more than half the card. They've got that 6-man tag with the Bullet Club, Marty Skrull versus Jay White, Gymnasties versus Justin Shape and a partner, lads from the Flats versus Kings of the North, and the women's style match. Yeah, so cards taking shape there. Oh, and I should, one other match I should make sure to mention, triple threat match, Jigsaw of Chikara fame, Travis Banks, and Mark Haskins of Progress fame. That match was completely bonkers. Tons of innovative 3-way spots, and one really crazy spot where I think Haskins was on the apron, what did they do? I was very drunk at the show, everyone, so the details are a bit spotty. But I believe like Banks, who was in the ring, grabbed him and tried to throw him into the ring post. But I think it was Haskins. He basically like grabbed the pole and kind of did a 180, like, and swung himself around like Tarzan and landed on the other side of the apron. Like, cool little athletic feat like that. But of course, I mean, you've seen Paul. You know how close the front row is to the ring. He kicked a lad in the face in the front row. And I am not exaggerating. Like, he booted this guy just completely. Again, like I say, he was like swinging like Tarzan around the post, going from one side of the apron to the other, and just completely Now the guy was fine. He didn't go down. He didn't bleed. His face was pretty damn red, but he stayed in his seat. Like, a member of staff went over to make sure he was okay. But man, he took it, man. That was a stiff shot, brother. He earned his respect in that match. That was unfortunate because you always hate to see something like that happen. But the guy was fine. And the match kept going, and they had a great match. But yeah, so that was cool. And Haskins was actually just talking earlier on Instagram about how he can't wait to come back and he wants to go for the title, which is cool. He's very, very talented. So yeah, you and I will talk OTT again in approximately, what are we at, 6th of March? About 5 weeks. We'll be on an adventure to the National Stadium, home of TNA Wrestling. R.I.P.
Oh, that's coming up later.
Oh, little tease.
More on that later.
Yeah, so that was my life guff. Saw some movies, played some video games, which we'll talk about later. It's been a good week for the entertainment, I have to say. A wrestling show, video game, and a movie that I was all very excited for, and they all hit home runs for my money. There's another tease for you. But yeah, so we will be talking to you about those later on.